We are in AutoCAD today, and we are getting ready to import our logo file and use Polyline. The reason for this, of course, is so that we can create the artwork that is needed to go into our laser cutter and use our laser cutter to cut this out, or to import this into um, our CNC machines or any other type of machine that we can do. So we're basically trying to get some of this artwork ready for other applications in machining and manufacturing. So to start out with, the plastic that we are going to be cutting with our laser engraver measures 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So we're going to need to make a rectangle. So I'm going to start using my rectangle tool here. And our corner point here will be 0, tab 0, enter. And you have to think about your image, whether you're going to want your image to be portrait or landscape. That is completely up to you based on the image that you selected. Now for me, with the image that I selected, I think it's going to work best as a portrait. So in that case, I'm going to make my X dimension here 2.5. So I will tab over, and my Y dimension will be 3.5, so that I have that 2.5 by 3.5 inch rectangle. Now, we may as well go ahead right now, since we've got this and you've got all your settings. We'll go ahead and go right on up to save. We'll do a file save as. I'm going to save this as Polyline hyphen your first initial by your last name. Make sure that you save that where you need to save it at. So I'm going to just, for right now, save this on the desktop of my laptop. But Polyline hyphen your first initial, your last name is what we're going to save this file as. So I'll go ahead and click save so that I've got that going in. Now, at this point, we've got our file started. We've drawn out the rectangle where we want our image file to be in, and we have saved our logo, our black and white clip art. So now I'm going to go into insert that clip art into here. So let's go up to our insert tab, and we will go right over here to attach. So I'm going to click attach. Navigate through to where you've saved your file. So I've saved mine on the desktop. So, and right here is cute hamster face, black and white. So I'm going to click on that, and I will hit open. So when you come up on here, this is going to give you this attach image. So we want to go ahead with our insertion point here, specify on screen, X0, Y0. The scale will be specified on screen, so we could kind of rotate it, or say specify on screen too, so you can play around with that. I can say no path, relative path, or full path. So we're going to stick with a relative path for right now, and I will hit OK. Now, you'll notice, and for most of you, your image is going to come in bigger than the 2.5 by 3.5. But I'm going to basically make that insertion point the 0, 0 here as I will. Now, it also comes up with a scale factor. So if you sit there, just go ahead and leave it as a scale factor 1, a left click to put that in there. And you'll see how big this actually is. Not a big deal here, so we can escape out of that tool, and I can kind of come over here. Notice that I put my cursor around the outside edges of the image, and I click on this to get the box to come back up. Now I can just kind of move this down, and we can kind of shrink this down to where it fits. So, and I can click on shrinking it down to get it closer and closer to that size that I need it to be at. So, all right, so let's kind of click this down again. So notice where we're at here. So clicking it down to be the size that we want it to actually be. Now, I'm not still seeing the rectangular box that I created, which lets me know that I'm still not to the size that I need it to be. So I'm going to keep on bringing this down until this fits and I see the box. All right, so there is where I'm at. I can now see the box. If I want to, we can move this about now. So kind of pick this up and move that in. More or less, we've got that where we need it to be. I'm going to go ahead and expand this just a little bit more here. There we go. So we've got that image in. Now I am ready to start to actually draw to do and kind of trace some of this out. You're going to do a lot of zooming in and zooming out of this. Now, if you recognize some of the shapes, you can, of course, use the different drawing tools here to put a circle in the eyes. And you notice we've got a couple of different circles, so you can kind of come in and do that. But the more important thing is we've got a lot of complicated geometry here that we're not really sure about. And that's where the polyline comes in. Now, a polyline allows me to just kind of draw here certain lines. Now I'm going to kind of, the more you click on this, all we're doing is kind of following along different paths. Now, as you kind of go through, you probably are going to want to have your, let me enter and cancel this, you're probably going to want to have your snaps turned off. And if you've got your object snap tracking, or object snaps or your grid mode, if any of those are turned on, those are going to kind of give you some problems here. So turn those off. Now you can see here where I've started to kind of create that polyline. And right now, as I'm working on this, I'm pressing my roller track to kind of see where that's at. So you can kind of adjust this. Now, with this polyline, I can also kind of move these just by clicking on these nodes or left clicking on the nodes and moving them over. So kind of pull them, stretch them over if they come off where you want. So press and hold, and you can kind of move nodes there as well. All right, now I'm going to continue on with the polyline, and we can kind of come right on back and pick these polylines and just keep clicking. So now on your curves, the more that you make in terms of when we're looking at these radii or these circles, the more nodes you click, the better off you're going to be. So it doesn't even hurt just to sit there and kind of do some clicks like this to more or less get all of that. Now I'm just kind of rapid clicking, so be careful. So you want to kind of see what it does. So to double check, again, I'm just pressing and holding the roller track button so I can kind of see where these lines are at. So that's all I need to really do in order to create the polylines. And this is going to give us, take your time, so kind of zoom in on these and really take the time to kind of trace. So you're just using polyline here to trace out the lines that are coming, that you have inserted into your drawing. So that's all we really got to do when we're creating this particular file. Come into those corners, make sure that you've got there, zoom in and zoom out if you need to trace these lines and create this geometry here for it. Again, the more of a curvature the line is, the more points it's going to make. So for example, right here, I could kind of just do this where it's still kind of squared off, and I can place a click here and another click here, and it won't be that good. Or I can kind of say, okay, well, I'm really going to trace around. The more points I make on this, the more circular it's going to be, or the more curved that it's going to look like as I follow this around using the polyline tool. So this is what we're using. Practice at this, kind of find your image, create your polyline of it. Really, it's up to you. Trucks, dogs, cats, other animals, logos, sports logos, pretty much anything that you want, so long as it is school appropriate. a black and white clip art image of it, get it inserted into your AutoCAD file for polylines. So make sure that it's complete and that you've got your total image done when you're finished. Save your image and save this as a 2.5 by 3.5 circle. Get that image put in there and scaled down on it so that you're able to trace that out.